It is being recorded. I can't tell if there are people from our community or elsewhere that have, clicked on it and logged in to see us or to participate later with questions. But just keep that in mind. Just because we're sitting in our houses doesn't mean nobody can see us. I don't know if Rod Pattershuk was going to join, but it's after 7 and we do have a quorum, so I'd like to open the meeting, I think.
Just real quickly, Rod did call, and they're out. The storm kind of knocked out their internet, so he's trying to get everything back together. So
okay, well, we do have a quorum, and then hopefully he'll get powered back up and be able to join us. Carlos, do you want to do the roll call?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Cousins?
Here.
Commissioner Zielinski?
Here.
Commissioner Springer?
Here.
And that is all. Commissioner Moons is out of town for this meeting, as noted by the chairman. And then Mr. Pattershuk is trying to work his way back to get online. So.
Okay. I mentioned that it is a live meeting, so Carlos, I don't know that I can see this on my panel. Do we have anybody in the audience that might have a comment, question?
Right now I show 4 attendees, and if there's anybody that has any comments, if you can raise your hand for public comments. And Chairman, I don't see any hands raised as of yet.
Okay, well, do another 30 seconds. I see that Jonathan has also joined us. All right, if nobody's raised their hand, let's move on to the discussion items if we can.
Chairman, if I may interrupt one moment. My purpose here is not to sit into your meeting. My purpose actually was to speak directly to the commission and to thank each and every one of you as we begin what we consider to be our new cycle. August, the beginning of August is when those who have agreed to re-up become re-upped, and those who and new members may join boards and commissions. So this is the beginning of the new cycle for us. So I wanted to jump on the call and just say thank you so much for all of your time and your efforts that you give not only to this commission, but to the city in general. We couldn't do the things that we do in the city if it were not for the volunteers like yourselves. And we appreciate your time, and we appreciate the time that your family has given us too, because it's time that you would have spent with them. So thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts, as I'm speaking on behalf of the City Council. And, you know, you've done some amazing work for all of us, and there's more to come. And we appreciate each and every moment that you spend helping to make this just an amazing city. So thank you. Thank you very much. And with that, I will take my leave, and you all have a really good evening. And I'll know when the meeting's over.
Yeah,
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Carlos, in looking at the agenda, I know there are several things on there that we were going to go over, but I also noted that we had what looked like guests on the panel, Mr. Yowitz, and I heard Mr. Keeley's name mentioned.
Yes, sir.
That is discussion that might be closed session. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you want to take a few minutes and run through the first part of the agenda and leave that to the end? I know they're on, they'll be on for an extra few minutes. I don't know how long that discussion would take, so give me your thought. You may be privy to some of that I am not.
Yeah, given that we have a couple of attendees, I can go through this rather quickly, Chairman, if that's okay.
Yes.
Regarding, of course, the progress on the 5-year economic development plan, which we try to routinely keep the commission up to date on the status of the implementation of the plan. Of course, one of the major items that we are working on has been the 5-year, the communication strategy. But real quickly, to identify the goals and where we're at um, in that process, we have a primary goal of expand business and industry in all of that. And that should be up on the screen, I believe.
It is.
Okay. Right now, we've created a baseline of current economic development status and set goals that we try to keep. We're in the process of trying to obtain stakeholder feedback, which we've done so through the development strategies reports, the Catalyst strategy, and other mechanisms, the council reach outs. We've identified desirable business types and industry targets. We've updated our marketing brochure, and we've been working on the internal organization and structural with a defined process. On goal 2, the position ourselves for economic growth is looking at needs for infrastructure improvements, which we've done so. Create property databases, we've done so with the business licenses, not in terms of trying to use it for the sale of commercial property, and then identify new businesses and industry locations. And I'll let the minutes reflect that Mr. Patershuk has logged on at 7:08. Welcome, Rod. And then, of course, invest in the future of all of that, which developing, curating local incentive policies and programs, and implement new financing mechanisms. And essentially, that's what we're trying to work with within the new business communications plan. So we put together a draft of questions that was put together by Mr. Cousins to go and do outreach. To keep that process moving, I am looking for some feedback from the commission in terms of identifying the different industries and things. And what we have done is gone into the 3 industrial parks, pulled out 2 businesses in there that are either owner occupied or rental, reflects both service and merchants. And we'll forward these businesses for the EDC to consider, and maybe at our next meeting we can decide on the contacts. And or are there others, please forward them to Jonathan and I, and we'll continue in there. So this is just trying to keep this process moving. The goal has been to identify businesses that we can contact preliminarily before we go out with a broader outreach effort. And of course, we're trying to do this under COVID, which makes it difficult. The other item I wanted to really highlight real quickly is, of course, back in 2010, we did put together a memorandum that identified 9 potential redevelopment areas, and not identifying any specific properties, but opportunities where there was potential or catalytic potential for redevelopment. We identified them as 1 through 9. And since then, 4, if not 5 of those properties have seen some activity, whether as an aggregate or as individual pieces. And I think we eventually want to go back and take a look at the successes that we've had within those, and reassess, where do we want to go from here? If we want to focus on the remaining 4, or if we want to now continue with those remaining 4 and add on to this list to kind of help direct where we're going through. And I would note, these 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, where not all of them have received redevelopment, but would put some merits into the Catalyst strategy, which of course comes up from the strategic plan, but has helped us really develop that area, these individual areas, and put together all that construction work we see now going on the corridor, or at least we see it in a permitting level starting on the corridor. The other thing regarding the comprehensive plan, I wanted to note, had a discussion with our plan commission, which is looking to update the comprehensive plan. Some of the things that we went back to the public comments and had a discussion of what we heard our residents tell the commission during the development, the comprehensive plan development process back in 2006. So this is going before that, a couple of years, about 2004, where we had, I believe, 3 neighborhood meetings, 2 large open houses, the public hearing, and then a couple of different smaller groups where it was staff, consultants, and all that kind of talk about specifics of the community. And one of these was like about the community character. They outlined the strengths, but what we were kind of focusing in is looking at the top issues and concerns that residents were saying about Olivet. That the outside view of Olivet is contentious, it's anti-development, it lacked a recreation town center where citizens can meet, it lacked identity or uniqueness. It had several underdeveloped commercial properties and absence of desired retail amenities. So we made significant strides as we're starting to see the redevelopment along the corridor to try to address these issues, both from the perception of the community to starting to create a town center and our own unique identity. When people talked about commercial development, their top issues were the need for more restaurants, public spaces, curated tenant spaces, architectural standards, mixed-use developments, there were anti-big box developments or no strip malls. They weren't sure how to balance the city as a bedroom community or commercial community, concerns about traffic congestion, and to be realistic with what the market can bear. And again, going back through the catalyst strategy about identifying specific tenants, which caused the changes in the COR district, the MU district, and the city center district. Chapter 428 addresses architectural standards. The MU district creates our own mixed-use development zoning district along with the city center district. We are starting to see more commercial investment to balance the bedroom community growth. We did the Olive Boulevard Master Transportation Plan to address traffic congestion. And we've been pretty prudent and realistic with what market conditions are. On the residential side, the top concerns of our residents were the replacement of smaller houses with bigger ones, like those mansions, appreciating property values and affordability with few options for housing, not enough life cycle housing in the community, the perception that the city was difficult to work with. New single family homes were kind of cookie cutter, lacked character, and the standards for housing need to set us new standards for housing and a central vision. And again, we've created the residential redevelopment guidelines to address the design, the McMansion, the FARs of those. We're trying to expand the not just the affordability of houses, but also the different types of housings that, again, going back to addressing that life cycle housing process of that. And we're making, there's a lot of communities that are looking to Olivet to adopt the similar standards that we have for new construction for residential properties. For transportation and infrastructure, the top concerns that were voiced out by the community was that we were not a sidewalk or bicycle community, and we've come a long way to overcome, hopefully, this concern. The Metrolink or transit rush hour and the volumes on Olive, the not enough amenities to attract people to the city, and poor management of traffic on Olive. And again, we've been working diligently, whether it's through the catalyst strategy, these outcomes from the strategic plan, the traffic master plan, and all those to try to address these concerns. And I think we made it was a point to bring up to the commission the significant strides that the community has made over that process since 2006. So that's all I had, Chairman. I just wanted to bring that to the commission's attention.
Okay. Any other commission members have any comments or questions for Carlos? Okay, Rod and Nate, you're showing as mute, so I'm assuming this. Okay, Carlos, I did have a few things I just want to hit quickly. On the 5-year plan, if there are subsets of those topics that have been updated since we've last seen it, maybe we could have that available before the next meeting. So we could just review that. Talked about the redevelopment areas that have been highlighted in the past, and at least for myself, I would like to continue to make the #1 priority finishing work on the ones that we've already identified and make the #2 priority, looking to see if there are other opportunities to redevelop. And then as far as the outside vision, I know this has been an ongoing topic since I first sat on the commission several years ago. And maybe as we look at not this year's budget, but next year's budget, maybe we should consider different ways to promote the city. Famous football coach was known to say, you know, if you tell people something often enough, they're going to believe it, especially if it's true. And maybe, you know, we need to get out there in some form of campaign, either in some local publications highlighting something about us, or maybe sponsor some local events around here that might help promote the city, those types of things, just for the back of mind. And the other thing I was going to mention was the traffic plan, which I know is something I kind of, is not our domain, but I beat the drum a lot. So if there's progress or things that we can do to assist in trying to make that plan happen, I think each commission member certainly would be willing to look at it and see what we can do. I'll stop there. Carlos, was there anything else on this agenda before the closed session that I missed?
No, sir. That's all I have for now.
Okay. In that case, I think we have to ask for closed session. I think if I remember correctly, do we need a motion to go to closed session?
Yes, Chairman, there would be a motion
And
that
then
would be noted, and then there's specific sections of the Missouri revised statutes that should be noted, 610.021.1 and 610.021.2. In that motion, I'm going to share my screen or flip to the screen share for whoever is the motion maker on there. I would note to audience members that once we go into closed session, I will have to note to the the attendees on the list that we're going into closed session, and they will be removed from the meeting.
correct. So can we get a motion to go to closed session?
This is Rod. I'll motion that we go to closed session pursuant to the revised statutes listed in the agenda.
Okay, so
Second.
there was a second. Okay, do we
Second
need
was
a roll
Mr.
call vote?
Zelinski.
Yep.
And do we need to vote on that, Carlos? I think we do.
Yes, we'll have a roll call vote. Commissioner Zelinski,
Yes.
Commissioner Cousins,
Yes.
Commissioner Patershuk,
Yes.
and Chairman Springer.
Yes.
And the motion is approved to enter closed session at 7:19. And at this point, again, those
Been taken in closed session. No particular decision was made on the topic. Carlos, we had meeting minutes, but I didn't remember getting those. So I'm going to say that those are going to go to our next meeting.
yes, sir.
Okay. Staff reports, Jonathan or Carlos?
Just a couple of items, and let me bear with me here 1 second because I lost the video. Okay. Barb, all of a sudden I lost like what is in front. Oh, here it is. Okay. The council has a special work session on the 18th. Actually, there's a meeting tomorrow, a special work session on the 18th, and a regular meeting on the 25th. September 1st is our first work session. Commission has a meeting on August 20th. The Plan Commission is August 20th. And if I understood correctly, EDC will schedule a meeting for 7:00 p.m. on Monday, August 17th, correct?
If we have the information, if that works for everybody.
A couple of city events. The police department is doing community camera registration. Information is located on their website. In their COVID-19 updates or info. Of course, we are under a mandatory mask policy. I believe park restrooms are open, but all play equipment is still closed off. And I know they were working to having a court date scheduled for September 9th as a Zoom. I'm not sure that's still on. Dillman Road Phase 2 is anticipated to start. I think it's still scheduled for this month.
Yeah, it is.
There,
August
No.
17th, they'll mobilize. It'll probably be mid-September when they close the bridge.
The events for the 90th anniversary have all been canceled. And then just a reminder regarding the 2020 census. So far, roughly 80% of Olivet residents have completed the census, so there's still 20% out there. On development updates, of course, we talked with Mr. Gowitz. The big thing, of course, is that MSD kind of has control of that site for right now, with, you know, conservative estimate of it being completed is by October. MoDOT has completed their review, and the permit is ready for the olive improvements, which include the crossing there at Hilltop. City Center, the demo is pretty much all complete. We have issued a partial permit for the piers for the garage structure. The inspectors are reviewing the actual garage building and the apartments building plans, and hope to get those released by month's end. They are anticipated to go before the Plan Commission to present their final landscape plan for the center. Centennial Greenway, there's been various community outreach efforts regarding the current alignment, and they're moving forward for more community meetings. Part of the alignment process was waiting to see what happened with Proposition C for the parks, and of course that was approved. So they've kind of outlined where the new community center placement will be. So this kind of you know, finishes or sets the tone of where that alignment will be along Worson Park. We have the Hilltop, an olive crossing with the olive crossing development. And so that kind of puts the two bookends, and I think they have everything pretty well set in there. We are having a meeting with representatives of Easy Storage to kind of get a further update of where they are in the process. Of course, they did some site work on their site. They do have some soils issues on the site, and then they're also they had some interruptions with their architect with COVID-19. So we hope to get that at least hopefully have a better update next week, or some indication where we're going with that. Regarding Dealman and Olive, the building plans have been submitted for this Firestone project. Those are being reviewed by the inspectors right now. And the old Ponderosa site, which we now call Plant Haven, those building plans have been submitted and are being reviewed by our inspectors right now. So we got a lot of activity going on Olive Boulevard, keeping the inspectors busy, and glad to answer any other questions on that, on either of those items.
Any questions for Carlos? Sounds like none. Carlos, just a quick one. You said Easy Storage has some soil issues. Are we talking about the ability for them to drive the pilings down there, or is it contaminated, or what?
Not, it was more for the compression strength issues.
Okay.
So not the contamination. No, sorry about that.
All right. Mr. Carl? You're on mute. There you go.
I was finding my mouse and unmuting. Let's see, Carlos hit the highlights. I will say that there is a very nice video on the Great Rivers Greenway where it stands. It's linkable. It's linked to the main page of the Olivet city site. And I just think it's a very good video that says where it stands and what's going to happen. So if you're interested, take a look at that. He hit the blood drive, he hit the camera program, Great Rivers Greenway. The park master plan moves forward. There are weekly meetings discussing community center layout and refining a number of things. So just to let you know that that is on the move. I don't have a specific item to report there, but it is progressing. And the only other thing I would at this point will want to add is to the mayor's thank you. You can tell by Carlos's very long report about what's the construction and development going on in the city. We've got a lot of activity, and that is in very great part due to the work of this commission. So again, I'd like to thank you for your service. And as we start our new year, we look forward to great things. So thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that. Barb, anything you want to add?
Well, thank you.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? Anybody have any other questions at the moment? Okay, if not, then Carlos.
Chairman,
Yep, Jonathan.
I just want to mirror the comments of just thanking the commission for great discussions over time, especially this evening as well. It does mean a lot for all of that. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Carlos, will you send something out confirming everybody's availability on the 17th?
Will do.
Okay. If there's nothing else, then I'm going to ask that we get an adjournment. Motion to adjourn, or you guys want to just hang out?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. Get a
Thank
second?
you, gentlemen.
Sounds close enough. I think I seconded it. All right. Carlos, Barb, Jonathan, Darren, thank you very much. Greg, gentlemen, I appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right, thanks, sir.